Hello, and welcome to Alphawave IP's 2-Minute Tech Talks. It's a series of tech talks that we'll be putting on around high-speed SerDes and communications. My name is Clint Walker. I'm VP of Marketing, and today I'll be talking about what is PAM4. So with 2 minutes to go, let's get going. So let's start with some basic definitions. We'll start out with what is a UI, what is baud rate, what's data rate, and what is PAM. So a UI is a unit interval in seconds. It's the amount of time a signal has to transition from one level to another, and for the receiver, determine what that new level is. So over here in this diagram, you can see we're transitioning from a 1 down to a 0 and back up to 1. And so this time here is 1 UI. The baud rate is 1 over the UI. So if this UI here was 100 picoseconds, 1 over that would be 10 giga baud. And the data rate is the baud rate times the number of bits per UI. So with this NRZ signal, we're sending 1 bit of information per UI. And so that 10 gigabaud rate would be the same for data rate. It'd be a 10 gigabit per second data rate. So how many bits we're sending per second. So what is PAM? PAM stands for Pulse Amplitude Modulation. And so the way we're sending data in this type of modulation scheme is by modulating the amplitude of the signal. And so in this example, say we're down here at 0 volts and go up to 1 volt. And so whenever you're above the middle of that, it's either a 0 or a 1. And this PAM2 example has 2 levels, the low level and the high level, and that determines if the bit is a 1 or a 0. Pretty simple. PAM4 means that is also another form of pulse amplitude modulation, but in this case, you have 4 levels. And you can see these 4 different levels here, going all the way up from the low level that we had in NRZ up to usually the same level we had switching, you can say from 0 to 1 volt. The difference here is now we have 2 bits per level. So the lowest level in this case here is 0 and a 0 for the 2 bits. The next level up can be a 0 and a 1, and the third one a 1 0, and the last one a 1 1. So you can see in every one of these UIs, you are getting 2 bits of information in one UI. And so that's what PAM4 is. It's really how many levels you have, and that determines how many bits you can send in one UI. So looking at some of the differences between PAM4 and PAM2, and lots of times PAM2 is called NRZ signaling. You can see the number of bits per UI for PAM2 is 1, and for PAM4, it's 2 bits of information. The swing levels for the PAM2 goes all the way, for example, from 0 volts all the way to 1. And in PAM4, you get 1/3 of the swing for each level as you did for the NRZ case. And so that's 1/3 of the swing that you had in the PAM2 case, which gets you about 9 dB less of SNR in PAM4 signaling. So why would you want to do that? Well, one of the reasons is you get in the same amount of UI, you get 2 bits of information. So you've actually doubled your data rate while keeping the Nyquist frequency at a lower Nyquist frequency. So for example, if you're doing 100 gigabits per second data rate, and we're doing PAM2, your Nyquist frequency for that signal would be 50 gigahertz. And for PAM4, it's cut in half all the way down to 25 gig. And so PAM, in the summary of what PAM4 is PAM is pulse amplitude modulation. PAM4 is actually becoming mainstream in interconnect standards above 32 gigabits per second data rates, such as PCI Express Gen 6, 802.3 in Ethernet, OIF, CPRI, and many more. And the reason why is by being able to cut that Nyquist rate of the channels from 50 gig down to 25 gig for that 100 gig example, you're able to use interconnects, channels, cables, connectors, and everything in the industry without having to scale them all the way up to much higher Nyquist frequencies. And this really enables the industry to double the data rates and at the same time use materials and connectors that are economical and exist in the industry to use today. And so PAM4 enables that lower Nyquist channels at the cost of some decrease in SNR. In my future 2-minute talks, we'll talk about how is that 9 dB of SNR overcome by the industry. And a little hint is it's FEC and DSP-based SerDes architectures. Thanks for watching our first 2-minute tech talk. If you'd like to learn more about Alphawave IP, please visit our website at awaveip.com. Thanks. Bye.